Sean, is this how we're getting our weather to leave today?
Oh yeah.
Does it show flat seas? Light wind?
Perfectly flat.
Last time aboard Freedom, we enjoyed a few short days exploring the seaside town of Westport, Washington. After a rough departure through the Westport Bar and a 9-hour cruise down the coast, we're now about to enter the most dangerous river entrance in the world, the Columbia River Bar.
We are just about to cross the Columbia River Bar. We're coming up. We're probably a half hour from actually hitting the bar. A little early from slack tide, but we're going to get a little bit of flood before slack to push us through. And right now it's not so bad. It's a really beautiful entrance here. The landscape changes pretty dramatically from Westport to here. And then even looking down the Oregon coast, it's pretty beautiful. So even more excited to finally get here and start exploring the Astoria area and some of the beaches, and hopefully we make it there safely. Is that right, bud? How you doing? Doing okay? I know. It was a rough ride. I wasn't getting mad at you that we showed up at flood tide. I was just questioning.
Yeah, we're almost at the peak of high tide, so there's a little bit of flood current kind of pushing us in. And then, when the tide changes and starts going down, then the current's going to come backwards through the river, so you'll be pushing into a current. And that backwards flow, that ebb of water, makes the waves stand up real tall, like we saw this morning when we left Westport. So we kind of had a little unfavorable timing there so that we could get here for unfavorable crossing.
Because this probably would have been the worst of the two, obviously, coming into a river.
Yeah, there's more current.
Well, nice work, Cap.
Yeah.
That's why you're the captain and I'm the first mate.
Timing and planning is everything. The seas were completely flat, so we not only had a favorable crossing through the bar, but we also had a great 10-mile cruise into Astoria, Oregon.
Lunch is served.
Thank you.
Here, welcome. Washington's over there. And if you're sick of Washington and you want a little taste of Oregon, you just come over this beautiful bridge and head into Astoria. Sully, come here, bud. So sorry. We'll come back and pick you up later. Are you all ready?
I'm ready. Been ready.
Sure you have. Let me guess, waiting on me?
Uh-huh.
All right. So we're in the West Basin in the Port of Astoria at the marina here, and it's right before you cross under the bridge to go further up the Columbia River, and it's a great spot. It's a little shallow. We were lucky to get in, but great spot, and So far the weather's been good, and the little bit that we've explored of Astoria so far, it's a pretty awesome place. Would you agree this is a pretty nice spot?
Yeah.
It's good. There's a ton within walking distance, mostly to the east of here. Would that be east? Or north? Yeah, east. I'm like all flipped around since we came in. And we had to get through the Columbia River Bar to get here, which was a total breeze.
If you time it right.
If you time it right. But I'm not gonna lie, the thought of having to go back north and go back through the bar is kind of making me a little sick. But luckily we've got a few more days before we have to start thinking about that. So today it's just about exploring Astoria, checking out the Goonies house, the kindergarten cop house, the jail from the Goonies movie. There's a ton of breweries, so we're gonna hit up every brewery that we walk by. And then later we might come back and grab our scooters and get Sully and go a little farther.
All right.
All settled up?
All settled up.
One more night?
Good through Tuesday.
Cool. And our parking pass is good in case we rent a car?
I just got another one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet.
As it turns out, there's a great river walk just steps from the marina that leads right into downtown Astoria. On the way there, we enjoyed great river views, lunch, and ice cream, of course, before touring a Coast Guard vessel as part of the Columbia River Maritime Museum.
It's called the Lighthouse Columbia, and I think they used to anchor it in areas where there was like bad visibility and they needed a kind of like a portable lighthouse. And up on the top of that mast, there's a big light, so it'd go anchor the ship and turn on the light so ships would be able to guide their way into the river entrance. You want me to do my thing with these?
That'd be tough. Yeah, wow. I cannot imagine having to deal with lines this big. Like the amount of calluses you're gonna get dealing with lines like this. Like I can barely get my whole hand around it. I have a lot more respect for Coast Guard and military and people that work on big ships like this. Kind of crazy, pretty cool.
The indoor portion of the museum showcases the rich maritime history of the entire Columbia River region. It has the largest collection of Pacific Northwest maritime artifacts in the country, and if we weren't already scared for a second bar crossing, the exhibits here didn't help calm our fears.
I am El Nino. That's for the Nino. Oh, you see me over there?
Yeah, give me a forecast.
And over here we go.
What's the weather gonna look like?
Up in Astoria over here, up in the bar, coming down the river. 65 on Tuesday, we got 60 on Wednesday, 58 on Thursday, and 55 on Friday. But look out for this lightning storm.
Waves, oh my, they're just going, woo, and right back to Seaside and the Cannon Beach. Yeah, the beach is this way, this way. So that was super cool. The Columbia River Maritime Museum. Would you highly recommend that?
Yeah, it's fun.
Totally recommend it.
What was your favorite part?
By far my favorite part was the weather simulator. The meteorologist station. I could stay in there all day. Yeah. If I take my mask off, right?
You can.
It's kind of like a wind blocker though. It's windy today. Man.
Since Elizabeth agreed to go to a museum, something she never agrees to, I also agreed to hit up the house from the 90s hit movie The Kindergarten Cop, one of her favorite movies as a kid. Happy wife, happy life, right?
Where are we headed?
Coming up on the kindergarten cop house. Right at the corner. They've repainted in the 30 years that it was made. Isn't this cool? So I have a true story, and it's the most exciting story that I can tell. So my brother's name is Dominic, and a couple years before this movie was made in 1990, a couple years before that, he wrote a letter to Arnold Schwarzenegger because he loved the guy and he like idolized him, telling him all about himself, that he had a pet ferret, that he loved to play soccer. And as it turns out, our neighbor's daughter worked in the White House when George H.W. Bush was president, and she hand-delivered that letter to Arnold when he was working in the White House for his physical fitness stuff, when he did like the presidential campaign for physical fitness, where you get that patch in gym class. So a few months after our neighbor hand-delivered the letter, Arnold wrote my brother back with an autographed picture saying, "Thank you so much for your letter, I really appreciate it. It's exciting that you have a ferret." And then the movie came out, and the character, the kid in the movie, is named Dominic, and he's got a pet ferret for his classroom mascot. So we were pretty sure that Arnold named the character after my brother. Isn't that a fun story? So, yeah,
Cool.
That's story time for today. All right,
All right.
go back, Goonies house. Does it have to be exactly 15?
Just kind of, yeah, there you go. You can go the full way each way now.
Okay. Why am I doing this?
We don't want the steering ram to fall off of the rudder when we're in big seas and big waves, so I go down there and make sure that the tie rod's tight against the steering ram and the turning arm on the rudder post that the bolts holding it on are tight. I found them loose once, so I just like to go check that once in a while.
As luck would have it, there were no rental cars to be found anywhere in Astoria during our stay. Although there's a lot within walking distance, having a set of wheels comes in very handy since our next stop was several miles away. And we found it. Coming up to the Goonies house. It's like surreal to be here. It's like a movie that was so popular as a kid. What do you think?
The house.
It's cool to be here though. Come on.
Yes.
Do it!
Okay, well, that's the Goonies house. Now we're gonna head to the East Basin, I think. It's a marina right across the street or nearby. And if you can hear, all those sea lions are having a heyday over there. I think the marina's kind of overtaken by sea lions, so we'll go check that out.
How'd you keep in your boat there?
No. It's probably why there's not that many over there.
Even after 4 hours safely stowed in his sack, Sully also had a great day and even made a friend back at the marina. Scooby the Dockmaster, who reminded us of a male version of Sandy and who I desperately wanted to smuggle back to Seattle.
Sean, is this how we're getting our weather to leave today?
Oh yeah.
Does this show flat seas? Light wind?
Perfectly flat.
Cleared for departure?
Uh-huh. The chart says go.
Ready to go?
Just about.
Getting shore power. First cloudy day in almost a week of being here, so definitely got lucky with the weather. And we're gonna go to Owako now. It's about 10 miles to the west, I think, northwest. It's right by the Columbia River Bar, so the exit out of here for tomorrow morning, because we got a really early exit to get through there at slack tide before heading north. So we're just gonna make our life a little easier, go to Owako for the night, and then we don't have to worry about 10 nautical miles before crossing the bar. So it'll be good. There's some great parks there. It's supposed to be a beautiful area, and that's in Washington, which is right across the bridge. So yeah, it's gonna be sad to leave Astoria. It's been great. It's been just a beautiful, beautiful time here. Great city, great town. Tons to do. We didn't do a fraction of what we wanted to do, mainly for lack of a rental car because they were all sold out. So we'll just have to come back.
All right. We pull the bow first. Or pull the lines that aren't doing anything.
Thank you, Astoria, for being a friendly, welcoming, and simply awesome cruising destination. We're looking forward to coming back soon to navigate our way down the Columbia River through the great state of Oregon all the way to Idaho. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the final leg of our trip, a speedy 42-hour cruise back into the Puget Sound region. See you next time.
Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed that video. It's time to get on with our weekly Q&A. This week we have 3 questions teed up for you, and our first question comes from Paul. Paul lives in the UK and asks, what advice would you give to someone with absolutely no boating experience but lots of newfound enthusiasm to consider buying a similar boat to spend their retirement traveling around Europe and to catch up on all the independent traveling that work has gotten in the way of? Great question, Paul. The advice I would give to any first-time boat buyer is to start small. Freedom is our 4th boat. We've learned a lot along the way by stepping up from small boats up to Freedom about what it is that we want in a boat in terms of the spaces, the features that are on the boat, the boat traveling speed and range. So I would suggest anyone that's buying a first-time boat, find a way to either get out on the water by means of chartering a boat or going on a friend's vessel, or get a starter boat first to find out what it is that you exactly want in your final boat. Our next question, question 2, comes from Bob. Bob lives in California and asks, we'd like to know a little bit about the boat when you purchased it. Sean does such a great job keeping it nice. What kind of shape was the boat in when you purchased it, and what are some of the detail things you have done other than waxing it? Freedom, when we bought it, was, I would say, was in good shape. It wasn't in perfect shape. When Freedom was on the market, it's not like there was 10 other 43-foot NORDHAVNs to choose from. You know, we couldn't be overly choosy. We knew going into it that there was going to be some things we wanted to do to the boat in terms of just cleaning it, but also adding some features that maybe it didn't have. Some of the things that we've done to the boat is obviously all the routine maintenance, which is on a regular schedule, such as oil changes, fuel filters, waxing, diving the bottom, maintaining the stabilizers. Those are all things that may happen once or twice a year, but there's also been some additions that we've added to the boat, such as installing a washer and dryer combo unit in our pilot house. We've added some electronics to our helm and reconfigured some of the existing ones. We added our cellular booster. We've upgraded the AV system on our boat, so we have a new television and an all-new stereo system in the boat. We've painted the engine room. We've rebuilt our water maker. So there's been numerous things that we've done to sort of upgrade the boat and add some features to our liking. And there's lots of other things on our list that you'll see in upcoming videos of things that we're going to continue to do to the boat. And then our third question comes from Ray. Ray lives in the Chicago area and asks, since you relocated to the Pacific Northwest from Wisconsin, have you found a decent fish fry? And anyone that's not familiar with Wisconsin, pretty much every restaurant on Fridays has a fish fry, and usually it's like lake perch or walleye. But to answer your question about the best fish fry, we have found a great place in Victoria, BC. It's at the Wharf Street Marina. There's a little outside food vendor. It's kind of like a food truck, but it's a permanent structure. They have the best halibut and chips, and I can't wait till the border reopens so we can get back up there and get some halibut and chips. I've been missing that this summer, so that's what I've found to be my favorite fish fry. So great question. Thanks for all the great questions. If you want one of your questions answered on an upcoming video, reach out to us on Instagram at MVFreedomSeattle. Drop us a direct message with your name, your location, and your question, and we'll be sure to answer it on an upcoming video. Thanks everybody. Have a great week.